Hello everybody, welcome back to Blues Focus TV for another full-time match reaction video. Today Blues took on Rayo Vallecano in their final game of pre-season before Luton Town next weekend, and I'm sure the rest of you watching this are extremely excited for the championship to finally get underway. But today's focus was on St Andrews against the Spanish side, who are no easy pushover. They finished 12th in La Liga last season against opposition who are certainly improving in that league. It seems to be getting stronger and stronger by the year. And they've certainly got some good players in that team. Some players I was surprised to see on the team sheet. Checking prior to kickoff, they've still got Bebe, they've got Nketa, and Radamel Falcao, who was the most surprising for me. Didn't even know he was at the club, but certainly Blues did well to hold him off today. And I'd say Blues did well in every area of the pitch. I thought defensively we were strong and solid. The 2 goals were just silly mistakes. We'll get onto those later, but we need to try and eliminate those sort of things before the season starts next weekend. In the midfield, thought you moved the ball around well, passed it well, created chances for our strikers, which is great to see, and our strikers as well. It's good to see us getting 2 goals today. I think after Tuesday with 2 goalless losses, one against Solihull Moors and one against Cheltenham, sorry. We certainly needed to get back to scoring ways today, and we did that with not only 1 but 2 goals, which was great to see. But overall, a good Blues performance. We started creating chances quite early in the game. First 10 minutes, Hogan had a header cleared off the line by one of our own, by Maxime Collin. He was just coming onto it a bit too quickly. Couldn't move out the way in time. But only a few minutes later, Hogan was able to contribute to the team again, putting a lovely ball into the box and Porheta finishing it off. I think it's so brilliant to see Hogan contributing the way he has this pre-season. Hogan's not asked of a lot as a striker at Blues. He never has been. He's there to score as many goals as he can each season. He seems to get 1 every 3 or 4 games, and that's all he's asked to do. But in pre-season, I've seen him contributing in a few more ways than just goals. I feel he's getting on the ball a lot more. I feel he's holding up the ball quite well. He's dribbling past a few more players. He had a few moments today where he was able to take on 1 or 2 players, which we don't see a lot of from Hogan. And he's obviously getting on the assist chart with the assist today. So it's so brilliant to see Hogan doing more than popping up with the odd goal. He seems to just be helping out the team a little bit more, which is something I feel has been missing from his game for quite a while. So it's so great to see that. But yeah, lovely cross from Hogan into Porheta, who obviously gets his first goal for Blues. And a nicely taken finish. Wasn't easy by any means. Coming at him quite a speed. The ball bounced before hitting the back of the net, but he got good contact on it, good speed. And managed to beat the Spanish keeper. So great to see Porheta get his first goal for the club. But not so long after, we obviously saw John Ruddy make his first mistake for Blues. Not going to read too much into it. He's an experienced keeper. I'm sure it won't affect him too much mentally. Obviously, just a very poor piece of goalkeeping. Shot didn't have a lot of power, but just slipped under him. But it can happen to the best goalkeepers in the world. Look at Mati Sarkic last pre-season making a mistake. Can't remember who it was against now, but he made a mistake pre-season, and look at the season he had for Blues. So not the end of the world. That's happened. As long as we don't see that in the coming games in the championship season, it's not the end of the world. But thought Jordan James looked good as well today. He had a few chances himself. I think 1 effort in the second half, which wasn't too far off. He hit the post early on in the first half as well. But he certainly looked strong today, and I think is a player that not only needs to be rotated in the first team, but I think needs to start more often in the first team. I think he's 17, 18 years old, and he just looks fantastic for a player of his age. I think we've got a real talent on our hands, and hopefully we can keep him as long as possible. But he's brilliant on the ball. He's got a good pass, both long and short. He creates chances. He gets shots. I feel sometimes Blues can be reluctant to shoot from good positions. We often look for that extra pass that's not needed, but certainly Jordan James is a player who's not afraid to shoot, and that's what I love to see, really. So good performance from him as well today. But went into half-time at 1-1, second half, 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. Those would be the final goals of the game. Rayo Vallecano getting the first one. Again, a bit of a weird one. It was passed back to John Ruddy, and he picked it up, and an indirect free kick was given inside the box. There was a clear deflection on the pass back. Certainly wasn't Ruddy's fault, just a poor refereeing decision, mistake. they had a shot from like 6 yards out and was able to find the top right corner. So can't really blame Ruddy for that one. Just poor from the referee. But again, we do need to remove those sloppy goals before the season starts. But literally, I think pretty much from kickoff a minute or two later, we were able to find our second goal of the game. A really nice finish from Junior Bacuna into the bottom left corner of the goal. Nice pass from Joy Deeney. And I think Bacuna is certainly going to be Blues' star player this season. In pre-season, he's looked fantastic. Got a nice assist in Portugal for Scott Hogan's goal. Obviously got on the score sheet today. He's looking like a very strong player. It's nice that he can play in behind the strikers. Nice he can play in the centre and midfield. But he looks absolutely brilliant, and I think is going to really help Blues this season in either finishing mid-table in an ideal world or just surviving relegation as we do most seasons. But he's certainly going to be a player to watch for the season. A few more mentions. Shame Sanderson was injured not so long before the game finished. As time of recording, I haven't heard anything as to whether he'll be okay or not, but fingers crossed he can fully recover, because he's certainly going to be a key player in our squad this season. And some standout players. I always write down a few standout players to mention, and I've normally got one or two on the list, but today I have four, and it's nice to have, or 4 or 5, and it's nice to have a few more players to talk about. So I've mentioned Bacuna, obviously, looks really good, looks fantastic. Plaheta, I was really impressed with today, not just because of his goal. He's got a lot of pace down that left-hand side, and he's able to play a bit higher up, having Trusty on the left as well. And with Trusty being a left-back normally, it allows Plaheta to go forward a bit more, which I think is really useful, because he certainly looks dangerous in the final third, got great speed and skill. Such a nicely taken finish today as well. Good range of passing. So looks like he could be a solid left wing-back for Blues this season. I believe the team we started with today will more than likely be the team that starts against Luton. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Plaheta this season. I was a bit unsure whether he'd be a rotation player when he first came in. But he looks like he'll be used a bit more regularly, and I'm certainly not complaining about that. After today's performance, I feel assured and confident he will do a solid job for us at left wing back. Obviously mentioned Hogan as well. So excited to see him doing more than just scoring the goals. I think he's going to have a very good season. And finally, Austin Trusty. I think he looked really, really solid today. But unsure what to make of him when he first came in. Obviously not playing a game for Arsenal and only playing in the MLS. The Championship and MLS are two completely different divisions. So a bit worried how he'd cope with the English game. But so far he seems to be doing well. I didn't watch him against Solihull Moors, so I can't comment on his performance there. But certainly today he did a solid job, and it's good to see him. He communicates well with the players. He was getting quite frustrated with Lecco at one point. But that's what you want to see. You want to see that passion, and you want to see that drive to push other players on the pitch. But certainly defensively, he looked very solid today. So I think that sums the whole game up, all in all. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you against Luton Town. Thanks, guys.